What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. We continue here with my 2024 predictions for the upcoming 2024 college football season. The Iowa State Cyclones are up next, a team that I'm a little bit high on heading into 2024, but this team actually was 7-6 last year in 2023, so coming off a pretty average type season and also a pretty decent season, but definitely a lot more better compared to 2022. But my thoughts on this team though for 2024, like I said, I'm a little bit high on them and also a little bit very high on them as well. This team has a lot of production coming back, and I think this team has a chance to be a dark horse contender in the Big 12. Again, you look at both sides of the football, plenty of experience coming back there. The offense should be pretty good, the defense should be pretty good as well, so both sides of the football should be really good here for Iowa State. They should be a very consistent team as well. So let's now get to the schedule here for 2024. This is the schedule here for Iowa State. Again, they were 7-6 last year in 2023. So let's go game by game now and give you a record prediction here for the Cyclones for 2024. They will start things off with North Dakota here on August 31st, an FCS team. Iowa State should be able to take care of business in this game. I don't think this will be a really big challenge. I know North Dakota is probably one of those teams in the FCS level that are pretty good, but this is not North Dakota State. This is North Dakota. North Dakota just a little bit under North Dakota State, but I think Iowa State definitely will take care of business in this game. They probably should score like 35, maybe 40 points as well if they can do that. So I got the Cyclones starting out 1-0 pretty easily, and then after that, there's the big game on the road here at Iowa on September the 7th. Of course, a rivalry game, anything can happen here. We saw the Cyclones lose to Iowa last year at their home place, so this is like a revenge game here, even though it's on the road here for the Cyclones. But I think this is going to be a really low-scoring type game. I am really concerned about Iowa's offense. I think Iowa State definitely has the more experienced team going into this game, but the Hawkeyes definitely have a more better talented roster than Iowa State, and this is obviously a rivalry game. I really did have a hard time picking this game, ever since, it was scheduled and everything, and once I did Iowa's prediction and everything, I did go with the Hawkeyes to win this game. So with that being said, it's a low-scoring type game. Of course, a rivalry game, anything can happen. I know this team and also these two teams have gone back and forth, but I'm going to go with Iowa here just because I think they're the better team, and also they're playing at home, but it's going to be a low-scoring type game, so I'm going to go with the Hawkeyes here to give Iowa State their first loss of the season. But then I got the Cyclones taking care of business against Arkansas State on September 21st, and for a funny fact, their bye week actually comes right after that Iowa game before playing Arkansas State, so that's not really a good spot for a bye week here in the early part of the season, but they take care of business either way. And then they open up Big 12 play here on the road on September 28th. They'll play Houston here on the road. Not really that high on the Cougars this year. Second year for them in the Big 12. Don't really know how good this team is going to be. New head coach and everything. So I don't really think Houston's going to be all that good, even though it's on the road. I think Iowa State definitely is the more talented team here, and also definitely the more experienced team as well. So I think Iowa State starts out Big 12 play with a win on the road here at Houston, and that puts their record now here at 3-1. Next game, they'll play at home against Baylor on October the 5th as they open things up here in the month of October. Again, Baylor is a team that I'm really having a hard time figuring out how good they're going to be. They haven't been really good in the last couple years. So this game actually I think will be very competitive, but I don't think it will be close for a little while. First half, maybe it's a close game, but it's a home game here for the Cyclones. They do have the home field advantage in this one, and definitely the more experienced roster, and maybe even the more talented team as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go with Iowa State here to knock off Baylor. I think they win this game by maybe 10 to 14 points, somewhere in that range. They get their fourth win of the season here, so that puts their record now at 4-1. Then they go on the road to play West Virginia here on October 12th, a West Virginia team that also has a lot of experience coming back. I think West Virginia is going to have a pretty good offense. The defense do have some question marks there, so I do expect a low-scoring type game. I think Iowa State's going to try to want to run the football in this game. I think think both teams are actually going to want to run the football here. But this game is on the road here at for Iowa State. It is on the road at West Virginia, a very tough place to play. And I think West Virginia and Iowa State are two like dark horse contenders in the Big 12. And this game actually really decides who could be that, bigger dark horse contender, maybe for the rest of the way. So this really does come down to the wire. But at the end of the day, I did go with West Virginia here to win this one when I did my West Virginia video a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to go with the Mountaineers here to pull off the win against Iowa State. They give them their second loss here of the season, so that puts their record now at 4-2. Next game is at home against UCF here on October 19th. I think Iowa State will be ready for this one. They're definitely going to be fired up here after a loss to West Virginia from last week. I think UCF's going to be pretty good this year, but just definitely not on the level of Iowa State's talent. And also, Iowa State has more talented players than UCF does, and also they have the more experienced roster as well. So I think Iowa State bounces back here with a win over UCF, and that puts their record now here at 5-2. They get the win there over UCF, and then they get a bye week here right before playing Texas Tech here at home on November 2nd. I think Texas Tech is going to be a pretty solid team. I've already done my Texas Tech video from last week, and I did choose, of course, Iowa State to win this game just because of home field advantage. These two teams right here are pretty much, one of the most consistent teams in the Big 12 and everything. Out of all the other teams in the Big 12, this is one of the most consistent programs. Two of these teams are very consistent programs. I think Texas Tech will be a little bit better this year, but I'm going to go with Iowa State here just because they're playing at home. It's a very competitive game. It can really go either way, but I'm going to go with the Cyclones here to get their sixth win of the season, so that puts their record now at 6-2. Then they play on the road here at Kansas on November 9th. Two very well experienced teams going at it here. Kansas has a lot of production coming back on both sides of the football. They also got Jalen Daniels returning at quarterback, so this is going to be a really good Kansas team. It is on the road here. Not a very tough place to play, but I do expect a very competitive game here. It could be like even a top 25 matchup. I think both of these teams are pretty even. They both have really experienced rosters on both sides of the football, but I think Kansas playing at home, it's a 50-50 game. Coin flip for me. I'm going to go with Kansas here just because they have the home field advantage here, so I'm going to think I take the Jayhawks here in this one. I'm going to go with the Jayhawks here to give Iowa State their third loss of the season, so that puts Iowa State's record now at 6-3, and then after that they'll play Cincinnati here at home on November 16th. Should be an easy win here for Iowa State. Not really that high on Cincinnati, kind of like, from Houston there on the road on September 28th. I don't think Cincinnati is going to be really great this year. Don't really know what to expect here from the Bearcats. So I think Iowa State bounces back here with a win over Cincinnati after the loss to Kansas from last week. So that puts their record now here at 7-3. And then there's that big game on the road here at Utah on November 23rd. Utah, a very well experienced team as well. They have really a good amount of production coming back on both sides of the football. This game is on the road. It's a very tough place to play. It's in the month of November. This has a chance to probably be a top 25 matchup as well. Utah, though, they're definitely the more talented team here. Iowa State, again, with all their experience, they do have a chance to really be competitive in this game, but I don't think it will be enough, especially on the road here at Utah. I think if this game was at home here for Iowa State, I would definitely go with the upset here, but I'm going to go with Utah here just because they're playing at home. So I think Utah gives Iowa State their fourth loss here of the season, so that puts their record now here at 7-4. And then the final game of the season is at home against Kansas State on November 30th. This time they will play the Wildcats here at home. Last year's game, of course, was on the road, and they beat this Kansas State team in a snowy weather condition type game. It could be probably like, snowing in this game by the time this game hits in the month of November and everything, but maybe not. Maybe it's like a sunshine type game this time here, but Iowa State is playing at home in this one. I think they do come out really fired up for this one as well. Kansas State, might be out for revenge in this one, but I don't think it will be enough. I think Iowa State has the more experienced roster, and plus they're playing at home. It's a pretty even matchup. I'm going to go with Iowa State here to knock off Kansas State here in the final game of the regular season. So I got the Cyclones beating the Wildcats here for the second consecutive year in a row in the final game of the season. So I got Iowa State finishing with a record of 8-4 here for 2024. I don't think this team can really win like 10 games with all the experience that they have coming back. They do have the most experience coming back in the Big 12, so they're definitely right there as a dark horse contender, but it's still still a tough schedule. They got Iowa in the non-conference, which I think it's a very winnable game. If they win that game, maybe they can probably go on to have like a 10-win season, but if they don't win that game, maybe it could be an 8 or 9-win season, but every game is pretty winnable here in the Big 12 for Iowa State. I could definitely see this team doing a little bit better than that 8-4 record. They could probably go 9-3, but if they go like 7-5 or 6-6, that in my opinion would be definitely a disappointment here for a team that has a lot of production coming back. So I got Iowa State again finishing 8-4 here for 2024. So that's my prediction there for Iowa State. Let me guys know what you think about this Iowa State team down in the comments below. What do you think their prediction will be for 2024? Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports channel.